Thank you for dropping by. This is Dio, and we'll be taking our next adventure to Spindleclutch I on normal difficulty. As we work through the Truly Undaunted series, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on all the adventures ahead. Being one of the beginner-friendly dungeons in ESO, Spindleclutch is fairly easy, but will have more environmental hazards that you'll have to keep an eye out for. When you first enter the dungeon, you are going to run into a group of NPCs, and you will be running up to Braxton in order to grab the dungeon quest.
It makes no difference.
Once you pick up the quest, you're going to go ahead and run through the first hallway. And here you are going to notice that the spiders are going to be throwing some projectile poison. What you're going to want to do is that since some of these spiders do tend to hide, you will want to pull in the stragglers with a ability that has a pull, or with a long range weapon like a bow or destro so that they can aggro and come towards you. And as you go through the rooms and hallways, kill the spiders. Even if your team has a healer, be sure that you yourself are carrying either a burst heal, healed over time, or a damage shield to help mitigate some of the poison dots, because as you can see, even on normal difficulty, these poison dots do hurt if you let enough of them stack on you. Make sure to clear out all the spiders before engaging with the first boss, because there's just going to be more spiders. Spindlecutch's a fairly straightforward boss. It's just DPS burn until it falls to the ground, while also keeping an eye and managing on the spiders that it will spawn throughout the fight. If the fight lasts long enough, Spindlecutch will start eating spiders on the ground that you and your team kill. Just go ahead and interrupt the ability when that happens and continue to burn. From here, there will be a scripted scene where you'll have some NPCs that'll start running with you in the dungeon to help clear out some of the ads. So just continue dealing with the spiders as usual until you get over to the next one. This room is going to require that you do a big pull, which you can do in two different ways. You can either pull all of the spiders into the center of the room, or you can do it in groups of either front of the room, back of the room, left of the room, right of the room, whichever way that your group decides to go. Once you clear out those nasties, the next boss that we're going to encounter is the Swarm Mother herself. A key feature of this fight is going to be, you guessed it, more spider ads. However, unlike Spindleclutch, the Swarm Mother does have a couple of new attacks that you will need to keep an eye out for. One of the attacks that you will need to keep an eye out for is going to be a leaping attack, where Swarm Mother is going to target a random member of the group and leap on them. You should be able to roll dodge or block this to avoid damage, and this ability cannot be avoided by taunting. The second ability to look out for is going to be a heavy attack that if you do not block or roll dodge out of, is going to end up knocking you back. And once you finish off the Swarm Mother, you're going to continue through a cave opening that's right behind where the boss stage was. And you're going to continue through, wait for that door to open, and deal with these ads who decide that throwing fire is a good idea. Avoid the fire AoE if you can. If you're unable to, just go ahead and heal through those and continue on through the hallway. The Widowmaker does start out with the same ads that you just cleared out in the hallway, but she will not respawn them throughout the fight. There's nothing too remarkable about this boss fight. Just keep in mind that the boss can buff herself to dish out more damage, and she does occasionally do a heavy attack that can deal moderate damage. Otherwise, all you're going to need to do is just burn the boss and move on to the next room. Just like the spiders from the beginning of the dungeon, this room's going to require to do a pull in a certain way, with most of the enemies being range targets. You are better off doing pulls from the right side of the room, and then dealing with the ads towards the left side of the room. From this point on in the dungeon, you are going to encounter some NPCs that are webbed to crosses. You'll want to take them down if you want to go ahead and do that for completing the dungeon quest, so that you can get credit for it. Similar to the Widowmaker, Big Rabu is going to be starting out with a group of ads, but she will not be respawning them throughout the fight. The only two mechanics that you really need to look out for with Rabu is that she can pull players to her instantly. There is no telegraph for this. It can happen to anyone. Also, you'll want to look out for her charge attack. That is telegraph. Once you finish her off, be sure to free the NPC that's left in cross
people were my friends.
and move on to the next room.
To
While you're charging through the hallway, go ahead and clear out these ads so that you can free the poor NPC that's left in the cross and continue on to the final boss. And here we are at the final boss, the Whisperer. You do have to kill all the ads before the boss becomes active on the battlefield, but you will not have any downtime between when the last ad dies and when the boss enters the room. The Whisperer is a more mechanic-heavy beginner boss, so you will need to pay attention to some of her cues as to when she does certain attacks. One of the more important mechanics is that the boss will incapacitate a member of the group. That will cause him to be entwined in madness and will deal damage during the duration. Another thing to keep a lookout for is her AoE that will pull all players in, and you do have enough time to either roll dodge or walk out of the ability. And then a couple of minor attacks that you have to look out for is just randomly someone with melee range is going to be tickled by the boss, and then also at random the boss will pick a player to go ahead and toss a poison projectile at. The best thing to do in a group composition with this boss is to just stay as close to her as possible until you need to roll dodge away. And other than that, just go ahead and keep burning the boss. Once you're done with the boss, you're going to go ahead and free the last NPC that's left onto the cross. And there you will finish the quest for Spindleclutch I on normal difficulty.
It was a nightmare. A nightmare. A monster.